Okay, like I promised you, I'm going to be telling you my complete story. Um, but there's always a genesis that leads to every other part of the events that happen in our lives. So I'm going to take you a little bit back to my early days. All right. Uh, Growing up, I had the privilege of knowing Christ at a very tender age. So let's say at the age of 14, I was already born again. 14, 15, born again. Uh, of course, filled with the Holy Spirit. So I nurtured this understanding that to be a good man is actually deserving to a good wife. In other words, if you want to have a good wife, you have to be a good man. To have a peaceful home, okay, you have to be a peaceful man to be able to attract the peaceful woman. That was my belief. Maybe I was naive in my understanding of that. So I tried as best as I could to keep myself and pray and prepare. If you ask me, I fasted and prayed to even believe God for a good wife. So don't say prayer was not part of it. Prayer was there. I tried to nurture myself in character and in attitude to attract what I wanted. So I love good home. I love a beautiful, peaceful home. So I worked towards it. I worked hard towards it. So and so from my very tender age, I tried to prepare myself for marriage and for the future. So as early as age 21, I was already independent. All right, from 15, 16, 17, I was independent. So at 21, I had my own personal shop, okay, fashion designing shop in the city of Port Harcourt, that's in Nigeria. And then I was doing quite well. I was doing quite well. I mean, a very promising young man. I was so ambitious. I I was purpose driven. Then I came to that point where I think by age 22, 23, yeah, I moved to Lagos, now in the industry and also in my Bible school. So, if you look at my life, things happen fast and quick. So, like I was saying, I moved to Lagos barely, I was 22, 23 thereabout. And then, of course, between 24 and 26, I was a little bit established as a filmmaker, upcoming actor, producer, and director. I think I first co-produced my first movie at age 25. And by age 27, thereabout, God showed me so much favor, and I left the shores of Nigeria to Brazil at 27. And then wrote my first movie in Brazil, uh, produced, directed, and the movie was a big hit. It was a big hit. Black Knight in South America. It was a hit. And all that reflect the grace of God in my life. People people supported my ideas and rallied around it, threw so much money into it, and that movie was my breaking point. That was where God, I saw the hand of God, how He can lift a nobody and then give him the platform and the position to say, okay, sit here and move into your destiny. So, unfortunately for me, I entered this flight, everything was so promising, all right? And I say to myself, being the kind of person that I am, that I know I've grown with, I wouldn't want to deviate from my ideology. So why don't you get married right now? That's the only thing you need in this flight. So your wife can always give you the counsel you need. The both of you can start building together because the Bible says one will chase 8,000, two will chase 10,000. So I thought about it. Maybe I should get married. Maybe I should get married. I needed that. And shortly before I left Nigeria, of course, I was in a relationship which we didn't define. It wasn't defined, so I ended it. Hence, I was going out. I didn't know what I was going to see. There was no need of carrying any kind of excess luggage and all of that. So get there first. So when I got there, and then I saw this need to settle down. Wow. Okay. I want you to know that those people who suffer a lot in broken homes, whose marriages pack up so easily, unfortunately, are highly emotional people. So while in this flight, I felt all I needed was a wife because God had just blessed me with almost everything that a young man at my age would have. So much at my disposition. Shooting that kind of movie, the whole of Brazil was at a standstill. He was the first Nigerian to shoot such a movie. I mean, to shoot in Brazil. So everything was working in my direction, and then I thought, bring in a wife. Okay? Yeah. So, who was qualified to be the wife of this promising young man? I was not in any relationship, and then my bishop there in Brazil, who I was the resident pastor to his church, he too was putting me under pressure. Like, I was too young, needed to get married, and all of that. So, I thought about it. What are the things I like? What are the things I don't like? They were the first thing I jotted down. You're a man who always want to have a woman tell you well done. Because with such kind of, you know, effort, you're making progress in life. You want somebody to always tell you, well done, my husband, well done. We look for that. So that was appealing to my emotions. All right. I love children. I love to have children around me. I mean, I love to see wonderful children. Work so hard to provide for my children. Give them everything that life has for them. And be a good father, a loving, caring father. That is another part of my like. So I put all my likes on the line to make me have a choice of wife. That is the reason why I'm telling you that side of the story, okay? And then one other thing also that I love clean environment. I love my house to be clean. I'm not an outing type. I don't sit out. I don't know how to go out. If my house is comfortable for me, I like to be indoors. So, with this in mind, I began to look for a woman who has these qualities, thinking in my foolishness that marriage revolves around these these few qualities. Marriage is not a physical thing. Marriage is an inner job. It's fulfillment from the inside. It's not because she's tall, she's fair, she's no. We shouldn't build our choices of marriage around those things because they fade out very easily. They fade out. So okay, if these are my qualities, so I need a woman that you understand what I mean. And then I remember, now I'm in Brazil. I remember I don't want to marry a Brazilian. I don't want to settle down for a white lady. What are my reasons? Simple. And then I wasn't speaking their language. I don't know their cultural background is going to be far from mine. And I don't want to struggle trying to make anything work for myself. I rather marry somebody from my ethnic background where we can speak the same language, where we can understand each other easily, and we can tell each other, communicate, right? Communicate. So that was my choice. So if these are my qualities, what I'm looking out for, I now have to start searching who has this quality. Then back home in Nigeria, I remember I used to cross over to Ghana in our early shooting days, go to Ghana, do some projects, come back. So there is this young lady who lives with the auntie, and anytime I get to that house, no matter how late, no matter how early, she fixes my food for me to eat. She fixes my food. She'll fix water in the bedroom for me to bathe right here. And in the morning, as I wake up, I see her bathe the kids, dress them for school. Wow, I like to see stuff like that. So she was more like doing the house chores and doing much of the domestic activities. And my choice of domestic value is so high that I believe that my inspiration depends on my domestic environment. Whatever I have to do, get inspired to do should come from my home, my kids, my wife, the house. All should inspire me to go out there and work hard so that when I'm coming back home, I am proud, like the hunter who goes to hunt. And when he kills enemy, he's coming back home proud because he has a family who will tell him, well done. So these were the things that I saw. So the qualities I saw in this young lady. So I remember, okay, make her your wife. I didn't know that I was actually I didn't know it was gonna be more than I bargained for. So I put a phone call through from Brazil, try to talk to her, talk to the auntie, the husband. So I proposed on the phone. It's not like proposing on the phone doesn't work for people, but I wouldn't advise anyone to do that. Yeah. But then I didn't know. I thought marriage was just like two people coming to live together and then you just be friends and you just gist. And I mean, I got married at 29. I was pretty young. Pretty young. So I started building the relationship on the phone. We're communicating, we're talking, and at the same time, I was finishing up my project, the movie project, which was already making a lot of waves. So I came to Nigeria that year, and then I came to Nigeria that year. So we're premiering my movie, and then I'm also preparing for my traditional marriage. Like I came, there was preparation ahead already for the traditional marriage. I had sent money down, they had purchased things, like everything was ready. I was the only one that was not ready for the marriage. And I'm not sure my ex-wife was ready as well. No. We were just we were trying to impress people more than expressing ourselves. So people were happy, but there were red flags. There were red flags. Lots of red flags that I ignored. I ignored. Red flags from families, from concerned friends who try to point my attention to certain things. And you know, if you've ever been there, once you're in love, anybody who tells you to check out the red flags, that person becomes your enemy. But they know what they're saying because they've been there. They've been there. So at that point, everything was happening fast in my life. Okay? The movie is voted an award-winning movie and all of that, money everywhere. The whole lot, it was just too fast. So I rushed into that marriage and the flight never took off. Flight never took off. So I began to crash. I began to crash. That was the worst decision of my life. If I have a story to tell, maybe in heaven, it was the worst decision of my life. To marry at that time and to marry the same person. I mean, yeah. We didn't quite understand each other, so we went to did a traditional marriage. And then immediately I took her to Brazil. I don't want to give you the detail of the activities that happened there, all the spiritual red flags and physical red flags that started showing up. I was seeing the signs, I'm seeing them, but I felt everything was going good for me, so nothing to fear. I'll conquer them, I'll overcome them. So we started and got to Brazil and did our wedding in Brazil. Traditional marriage, Nigeria, wedding in Brazil. A lot happened. I won't go into those details. But suddenly I realized that we were two different people. I wanted to see my house cleaned. That was the reason why I married you. Keep my house neat. That's not to say she's a dirty person now. But I didn't see that again. Get me clearly, and it's going to help you. I didn't see that again. This man want to come back and then after the day's work and hear, oh, well done, my husband. How did your day went? Did everything go good? Wow. And I wanted that encouragement to fan my egos, to fan my pride, to tell me that I am the man. No, I wouldn't hear that. Instead, when I come back, I'm not asking, where's my food? Food is not ready. Why is this here? Why is that there? I began to look for these qualities that got me into marriage in the first place. Where are they? Where are these qualities? I know you are good with keeping the house, but I'm not seeing this now. I know you could fix my food when I used to stop over. That's a list of things you do. Now you're in marriage, why can't you do them? Why am I not seeing this? Remember, we were still naive, so I began to get worked up with them. I forgot to know that she's been doing this maybe under, I don't want to say, she's obliged to do.